Hey lovers, welcome to Sacred Soulmates. I am your goddess Euphoria with that lit crown. How y'all doing? Over here we celebrate sacred divine love, and that begins with love of self. It begins with respect of self, and it requires you to demand that from another, command that from another, not even demand, command that energetically before you can expect to meet someone who also matches that. Then in that case it'll be a soulmate connection. I read by the chakras. It is windy out here, so if you see me kind of like distracted and looking down and stuff, it's because I'm trying to keep the wind from carrying away my cards. I start with the crown chakra, and then I move down to the root, and each chakra point comes together. There are other chakra points, but we keep it real mainstream so everybody can get some. Now at the top of the reading, I'll show y'all the card in a minute because that wind be picking up on me. It feels so good. Oh my god, it feels so good out here. But at the crown of the reading is self-worth. Right here, self-worth. Right now, that's the top of mind. Right now, that is what's most important. I came and I posted to the community tab yesterday about just a brief break in readings. Usually I come and do one every day. On my 828 prophecies channel, I've described a little bit more of what's been going on. But I was talking about, like, right now it doesn't feel like a lovey-dovey energy. Right now it's kind of like a spiritual warfare. And at the time I posted that, that's what energy I was in. But then this morning, I mean, like early this morning, before the sun even came up, that feeling of love just kind of met me before the crack of dawn. And I was hearing, I'm gonna lay down my burdens down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more. It's like when you learn to love yourself, is really, you don't have no enemies outside of you, because when you love yourself, you're gonna do the work. Of course, you probably already have, different entanglements when you are in different energies. And then you may have to do some cord cutting, some bridge burning ceremonies in order to get people to loose you. Woman, thou art loose. Man, thou art loosed. You may have to get, some extra spiritual help in to make people loosen their grips off of you. But you're going to do what it takes to defend yourself, and you're going to do what it takes to protect yourself moving forward, because you love yourself. So once you get those energies out of your energy, out of your auric field, then it's all good. It don't matter what they got going on. It don't matter how barren their land may be. It don't matter, how hard their circumstances and struggles are. You just never go back to that once you have freed yourself. So I'm getting that very religious energy. I guess it's because it's a Sunday. So I'm hearing like the hymns, lay down my burdens by the riverside, and also the reference to woman, thou art loosed. You know, as described in the Bible as, T.D. Jakes, his movie and stuff like that, just woman, thou art loosed. The sacral energy is present with the self-worth card. And I know in the T.D. Jakes movie, it was talking about a little girl who was molested. Well, it went further than just molestation. I do want to make a note of that. When some penetration happens, it's further than just molestation. Molestation is, exposing children to something or pleasuring yourself while they still remain intact. It's still tainting them, but it went further than that. For some reason, is the need to go into that came out. So someone may have experienced something like that in their own life, or you are struggling with loosening yourself or building your self-worth back up after something like that. It doesn't have to be literal, because this isn't the crown chakra position. It could be just people wanting to force themselves on you, not sexually, but wanting to force themselves on you and make themselves relevant. And they want to grab onto whatever it is that you're doing, and they want to tear down your name if they can't take part in whatever it is that you're creating with that sacral chakra energy. People wanting to force narratives on your sexuality that may not even be true, but maybe because the way your body is built, or maybe because you showed them a little bit of attention. I'm kind of getting how on social media, like sometimes we'll see pictures from like the 80s, the 90s, the beautiful women in those days, the women who were so natural, beautiful, gorgeous actresses and stuff. And they'll be in a picture together, and I'll see in the comments like, just complete incels, like inbred backwoods nobodies, be in the comments like, oh yeah, I know he hit that, just because it's a male celebrity and it's a female celebrity together in a picture. So it's like that type of energy of somebody could have just, they could see a picture of you somewhere and be like, oh, look at how she got her tongue out, that's a hoe. Or, oh, look at how she's leaning in towards such and such. I'm getting a lot of speculative energy. So that could be like the spiritual warfare that I was talking about. Because really on my end, that's where a lot of it came from. People just having false narratives. But that hymn that I'm singing, like, it's like ancestral guides, ancestral spirits showing up and putting an end to people just trying to tarnish your self-worth, or trying to diminish your self-worth, I should say. In the third eye position is the Four of Coins. If you have that self-worth, you're pretty much locked in. And I'm getting this energy of something being locked in, something being secure. So it's like maybe it's you being secure in your own mind about what it is that you have and have not done in your life. So you're not paying these people and their false narratives much attention. It was like a yellow jacket, I believe, that just flew by. So that's why I'm looking. Because I do have allergies to certain things and stuff. But, you know, I'm not a threatening energy. So hopefully it was just, you know, coming to check out the scene and going on about his business. What with the Four of Coins is like, you know your value and you keep to yourself. And it also could be some things coming to the light now, or coming to the forefront, some truths coming out, some tea being spilled about your actual nature that contrast what people may try to put onto you. So narratives that other people try to put onto you, it could be some information coming out that's been kind of locked away or tucked in a vault, or just kept, you know, hush hush low low, because it really ain't nobody business. You could be somebody who just mind your own business and you don't really be caring what people be saying. But the energy of this reading is saying that maybe the chatter had gotten too loud. Me and my spouse up in the clouds, rumors on the ground getting too loud. Please turn that shit down. That's what Jay-Z said about him and Beyonce. And I heard that. The rumors may have gotten too loud and require you to address it. That could be the spiritual warfare. Because a lot of times it really just be mental warfare. It don't actually be no, you know, people don't really be bucking like that. Even though we have shows like Baddies or whatever, people, they really don't be like, you know, running fair fades like that. The police be called. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't good to get no domestic violence charge or to get no battery charges in this day and age, because they're going to try to pack other charges on top of it. If a child was watching while y'all was fighting, they're going to put a cruelty to children charge on you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just, I digress. It's just not good to be out here, you know, really physically warring like that, especially because the battle really is mental. It really is spiritual, and somebody knows who they are. You keep that at the top of your mind. You visualize your life through a completely different set of lenses than the people who are so obsessed with putting bad energy on your name. And it could be like, you know, a karmic, you know, ex, the family of an ex, stuff like that. People who really don't even know the core of you, but associated with some type of relationship, or they know about some type of relationship you had, and they feel entitled to speak on whatever relationship you had, what relations you've had. Let's say you don't have a relationship with your children's parent, you know, the other parent, but you have people that don't have nothing to do with your relationship putting their mouth on the relationship, or trying to act like they have an inside perspective on y'all's co-parenting or on y'all's connection or whatever the case may be. It's like that type of energy. But in the throat chakra position, we have Three of Baskets, which is basically like Three of Cups, but in this deck it's baskets, because we're an abundant people. And it's like you don't want to waste your energy speaking back to people. You would rather direct your word, you would rather direct the power of your tongue into what gives you life. If, you know, defending yourself at some point, if you have to come out of yourself and go ahead and defend yourself, or go ahead and spill some tea, then that's fine too. That's supported. Whatever it takes to edify you is what I'm getting at. Like, you gonna defend yourself, because that's a part of having self-worth, especially if it gets to the point where people are spreading around like lies and stuff like that. So you may be having some we may just be seeing like on a collective defamation suits and stuff like that. You know, Drake got that ball rolling, so I think Chris Brown is in one now too. So people starting to have to watch their mouth a little more, because there are real consequences if you put in your mouth on people's name, and there are real negative consequences that are happening. I'm seeing Monique, especially with the interview she just did at 85 South in the Trap. Like, just because people think that they have some type of authority to share their judgment, but you actually are like trying to blackball, or you trying to like stop opportunities, or you trying to detract people from being attracted to a person, there are more, dire consequences to come from that. And we have the Tower here in the heart position, which is like sudden revelations in alignment with the energies that I've already called, but sudden revelations about the people who are bearing false witness, and also sudden revelations from the person who may have been targeted. So you may just like, in a moment's notice, you may not go into a situation or go into a conversation, go into a venue thinking that you're going to address nobody. It's like something may be coming out of the blue. Like you may not wake up that day with no Anna on your heart. You don't wake up that day with no spite, no malice or nothing, no beef with nobody. You really just be minding your business, taking care of whatever it is that you are creating yourself. But something may be coming toward you, just like out of the blue, trying to hurt your feelings or trying to break your heart. And the purpose of people, coming at you without preparation and just trying to basically blindside you is because they want their cuts to go deeper. They really want to stab you, and they want to make you bleed in a way. They want to break your heart in a way where you carry trauma from that. And that's another thing associated with this sacral energy of trauma. The woman thou art loose, like the assault, someone forcing themselves on you, like somebody trying to force trauma on you, based off of stuff that ain't even real. And they get whoever they can get to team up on you, or they say things that may not even be true. They may have a piece of information from somebody close to them, and they take that and run with it as if it's just law. And these things are meant to like break your spirit and break your heart. But in the solar plexus position, we have the star. The solar plexus is the sun within, the light within, and you have the star in that position. Y'all see who's our special guest today. I've been, because when I do like this, I turn into a shadow. So I've been trying to keep my head, in front of that corona, that crown. But the star is here in the solar plexus position. The sun is a star. You have your light on. You are a star. You shine bright and people see it. And they can't stand it. It tears them down. It breaks them down. They want to tear it up. They want to crush it. They want to smash your light bulbs. I'm seeing like a, those rooms where aggression rooms or like wreckage rooms or something like that, I think is what they're called, where you can go in there, you can smash light bulbs and, bust windows with bats and throw hammers and break toilets and stuff like that. Rage rooms, I think that's what it's called. It's like somebody right now is in a rage room about how you carry yourself amidst their gossip, amidst their trying to tear up your name, amidst them trying to get people to not want to deal with you, or trying to make you look less attractive than you already are. Because that star energy is like, baby, I know you see me. That's what Neo said, baby, I know you see me. I know you see me. It's like, I know you see it. Any of those songs could be relevant. You could have listened to them anytime recently. But it's like Jacil. Somebody may have a partner or somebody around them who calls you by your name, or everybody call you by a nickname, but this person calls you by your government name, or vice versa. Everybody call you by your government name, but somebody may have like a nickname for you, or you have nicknames for other people. You know how sometimes when, we being a little shady, or when we, snapping back at people, we'll give them a nickname. I have a few choice people who have nicknames, and that's what we call them. For example, I call one girl who used to like try to come at me and like assault my appearance or whatever when she looked a hot mess. And I used to call her kickstand because her knees were like not needed, but her feet was like used to be leaning. Her shoes used to be leaning on the side, and her knees used to come together. So I call her kickstand because she looked like a bike leaning on the kickstand when she walked. So that's what I'm talking about. Like it could be somebody who's trying to come against you, and I don't feel like it's a detrimental any energy on your side. Like I don't feel like it's actually doing something to lower your self-esteem, because at the top of the reading is, self-worth, and that's crowning the reading. So that's really the energy that you're carrying, like at the top of your mind all the time. When you carry an energy like that at the top of mind, it's not something you have to even think about. That's just your natural state of being. That's your state of balance, is, valuing yourself. And somebody who doesn't have that natural state of being, they don't naturally have a high self-esteem or self-worth, that's who may be the ones passing along gossip or trying to make it seem like you're not the person who you really are, attacking your creations. Anytime you do anything creative, they try to make a mockery of it, or they try to speak failure on it because they don't want you to succeed in anything. They want you to stop being the star that you are. They want you to stop being so noticeable. They want you to stop being so bright and beautiful and dynamic and creative. And none of this has anything to do with them. It's just people who are, they have hate in their heart and they want to tear down other people. I know in the YouTube streets we call them happiness haters. And that's really exactly what it is. People who hate other folks being happy. Black Jeep, Saturn on their ass. Black Jeep followed by a black sedan, Saturn on their ass. That wasn't black, that was charcoal. Light the fire. Woo! That sacral energy is like fire. And like people under fire for what they say about you. People being scrutinized, people being held accountable for the things that they've said about you or the things that they've done to try to sabotage you. It's a bee. I try to just keep, going or whatever. Not minding the little critters that sting too much, so they'll just leave us be. In the sacral position is the Daughter of Baskets. The Daughter of Baskets would be associated with like the Knight of Cups in any other deck. But the Daughter of Baskets is like you really have that, la-ze-da. You still outside in nature. You still out grounding. You still are doing your spiritual baths. You're still taking good care of yourself. You're still on the same wavelength. You are still exploring. You're still loving life. You're still doing new things. You're still coming up with new things. The innovation don't stop. And it don't stop. And it don't quit. Old school R&B. Like when I say hip hop, when I say hip, you say hop or something like that. When I say blank, you say ho, hey, ho, or something like that. Hip hop hooray, ho. It's weird, but it's on it, but you couldn't make my day. Hey, you're done in every single way. Hey, I don't know. Any of that energy may be relevant to somebody right now. Somebody try to make it seem like you only be after other people, OPP. Like you mess with people, or you mess with boys behind somebody else, or you mess with girls behind somebody else. Those are projections. It's really them that does that. Or somebody try to make it seem like you a hoe in some type of way with that OPP energy. And it's really them. Something about other people's pride. It's like people trying to save face because they know that they really, all they have going for themselves is this unreasonable pride. Like ain't nothing to be proud of about them. Oh, my God. Yeah. That was the third eye. So the third eye is like people just pulling shit out of their ass. Like you see how the wind is up and blew that card like behind. Like just pulling things out of nowhere. Like it ain't no substance. It ain't no rhyme or reason to what they saying. And that's probably why it's not really bothering you, because you realize that these people just saying whatever to try to like get some attention off of you. It's given that they don't have nothing going for themselves. Ooh, I must be talking that shit. That communication energy coming through. The wind good and strong. The winds of change. The winds of change. I know, right? You just want to just fly like an eagle. Space Jam. To the sea. Fly like an eagle to the sea. On my 828 Prophecies channel, I talked about how if you go deep enough under the ocean, you fall out of the sky. And he's saying fly to the sea, like you fly up into the sea, which would be the same as you go deep enough in the ocean, you fall out of the sky. Something about your spirituality may be what's causing these people to be so heinous toward you, like a difference in beliefs. With the Mothers of Knives, that's the root of the reading. So I'm thinking so. And then Judgment is up underneath that too. Bro, you grab that for me too? Thank you. Judgment and the Mother of Knives is like some type of belief that you have, or some type of like ideology that you hold. Could be the whole reason why people are just going out of their way to say bad things about you. But really that just shows who they are as people. Because if you don't believe what somebody else believes in, why the fuck you tuned into them? Like, why you got so much to say about it? Just go on about your business. And especially if you call yourself like a upright, righteous person, or if you're a Christian or some bullshit like that. And I do mean some bullshit like that when I talk about Christians. Some bullshit like that. Because very few of them are Christ-like. Because Christ would, if he didn't believe in the shit that you was on, he'd just keep it fucking moving. But only heathens, only lowlives, only people who have control issues in them. The problem is they don't have no creational power. I'm getting there's a lot of like uppity religious folks talking about your sexuality. This could be a partner's mother, a partner's cousins, a partner's church. If there's some type of if you're like queer in any way, then people just giving unsolicited opinions about your life, like prying in where they don't belong, all up under your clothes where they not supposed to be, worried about what you're doing with your reproductive organs, which is none of their business. Like that type of energy is really here, like trying to plague the star. It don't matter what your sexuality is, what your gender is, what your preference is. None of that is anyone else's business. So for them to try to dim your light and make it seem like you're not a good person just because how you choose to conduct yourself in your own life, especially when it's private matters. It ain't like you out here twerking in front of children or nothing. It ain't like you out here, having sex in God's temple. It ain't like you robbing the church members. It ain't like you doing nothing like that. So your belief system, your ideologies, the way you carry yourself, your routines should not be a basis on which somebody can be judging you with this judgment mother of knives card. But it's somebody who is just, and they're very like spiteful, and it's very malicious the way that they approach you just because their way of being is different than your way of being. That's why it's so important that you do keep that self-worth at the top of mind. But because of the other cards that are here, like the Four of Coins and the Three of Baskets, the Star and the Daughter of Baskets, it's like the heart of the issue is that somebody trying to break you down. And the part of this reading where nature has been most active is basically the response to their energy. Like the black Jeep, I associate black Jeeps with Saturn. This is the black box, the coding, the wind turning up, blowing cars, the cars that are being blown, because that was judgment that was just blown the second time. The first time was the Four of Coins, like people trying to assess your value, trying to judge who you are based off of what they think you do, because they don't even have the whole story. Even if they do know something about past relationships or your sexuality, they still don't know you as a person, because your sexuality does not make the whole of you. So the wind picking up at these certain times is like everything else is the cards. The cards are talking about like how they trying to come at you, but they also giving like this kind of laissez-faire, self-worth energy. The cards are talking about you. I'm not one of those readers who gonna pull up and keep talking about, well, they did this and well, they think this and they love you, but and all that motherfucking manipulation and gaslighting. You'll never see that bullshit over here. Why a reader would spend the whole reading talking about somebody else, I don't know. Unless they talking about how you're dealing with what someone else is doing toward you, ain't no fucking reason for a general reading to be about a whole nother person. That's some game for y'all. Watch that when you go to a reading and somebody's whole reading is about another person, and then they'll argue with you. Well, if it was that, well, you must be bitter because of it. Hell no. If you were a good reader, y'all got to start being more responsible with y'all likes and hypes and subscribes and shit. I'm just telling you like it is. Because they leading you into a death portal. They leading your energy out by the wayside. Blind leading the blind into the ditch. Because why are you reading on a fucking cross-watcher? Why are you reading on the person who is manipulating the person? Unless you too are also in manipulative energy. Anyway, everything should be for your own edification. Ace of Wands. It's all about me, 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 me. That's the energy that you carrying on in, because you know that nature is going to fix these people themselves. You already know who you are. You already dedicate your energy to the things that you want to do with your life, and you don't be giving people that much power and control over your life. You still creative. You still light. You still bright. You still attractive. You're still magnetic. And they can do all they want to try to make it seem like you're not. But again, the crown of the reading, your balanced point of view, is that you have self-worth and that you don't matter what nobody else got going on around. Your crown is just fine. They can be out in the cold all they want to. They can be barren all they want to. But over here, you thriving. Over here, your throne is warm. Your seat warm. Because you be in that seat. You be on that throne and you rarely do get up off of it. So it don't matter what they think. It matters what you think. I'm getting Aries energy from that fire. You may not even be Aries. You may not have anything in your Aries house. You may not have a lot of Aries placements, but the Aries energy is like self-actualization. Like, I know who I am. And you're not just going to come and tell me any old thing, and I'm going to assert myself. So that Aries energy is here. And good for you. Because it don't matter what they trying to do. All they going to do is make a tower for themselves. It's something about liminal spaces. When I was talking about going in the ocean and falling out of the sky, or fly like an eagle into the sea, going so far up in the sky that you come into a body of water. It's something about liminal spaces, transitions in times, separation of timelines. It's like something about, nature, supernatural forces, your ancestors are coming together to place people. Like if you are so against this person, then they're manifesting a totally, completely opposite, different reality than you. You being in this star energy and somebody is constantly coming against it, what they are manifesting for themselves is the complete opposite reality, where they are not the star, where they are degraded. Basically what they wanted for you, what they tried to project onto you, the opposite. Like they sending it that way, but it's reverse on their ass. That's what's happening. And all the forces of nature are the ones answering to them. The cards are talking about how you are, you still got it going on. Somebody may have did something to you, or somebody may have inserted themselves on you, or somebody may have tried to force a narrative about you, but you still got it going on over here. You still hot stuff over here. Everything off of the cards, which is just intuition, spirit, live ancient God forms. That's what's communicating through this reading, blowing off cards and stuff like that. You see that wind picking up, like, yeah, they hear you. They here with you. They know what's going on, and they see them people running their mouth. Air is communication energy. So everything somebody speak out into the ether, it's collected, it's recorded. Them people don't be having no spiritual prowess. They don't be knowing nothing about no damn spirit and no energy. If they did, they'd know to shut the fuck up. They'll know what was and what ain't their business. But obviously they don't know. But you have a higher force. You're the star energy. That means your light touches everything in the space. So if it's somebody in the space who got a problem with you, the space would rather take out the trash than get rid of what's lighting up the whole space. If you bring light to the environment, the space would rather get rid of people who are messing up the environment rather than get rid of you. Because you bring light and life to the environment. I just heard you're innocent. So I don't know if you got a court case coming up, or somebody had some allegations against you, or somebody trying to get you locked up. That could be that secret, blindside type of thing. Somebody come and try to start something about reactive abuse, where people want to bring you like out of character and then like catch you up, maybe like on tape or something, or get you to thump them upside the head, and then they want to show the mark to the police where you thumped their ass, so that you can be like arrested and hemmed up, so that they can bring about a tower moment for you. But it's the circumstances are not going to allow that to happen. The 4D space is alive. I talk about that a lot on my 828 Prophecies channel. The 4D space is so alive that you really ain't able to get too much bullshit out there these days before nature itself speak up and tell on your ass, or before some spirits start to descend on your ass, since you can't seem to control yourself, since you can't seem to control your mouth, in reference to other people. But in terms of like, having to defend yourself, it really don't even feel like you in that much of a defensive energy, because I think you have spirit on your team. I think that God is on your side. I think that your innocence is pretty much set in stone. That's why everything else is, 4 of coins, 3 of baskets, the star, daughter of baskets. You know what I'm saying? Like, you, Ace of Wands, you know who you are. You don't need to go back and forth with nobody. If you want to say something to get it off your chest, to vent, that's for your self-help. And by all means, do that. But in terms of like being in turmoil or being depressed or something about what somebody else have to say about you, or even the smear campaign or how far the lies go, it's like you can't be broken based off of somebody else losing themselves, operating out of pure delusion just to try to tear you down. There's just no reason for you to lose yourself over that. And I feel like this wouldn't be nothing more than a confirmation for you, because you seem very level-headed. You seem like you know what you got going on, you know who you are, and good for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll see y'all.